Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Diaz. Will and I are back again for another spectacular Marvel Plus talk. Uh, yeah, this time we're doing Ghost Rider, starring Nicolas Cage. Anyway, Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I can't believe we're talking about Ghost Rider. I think it's oh my god, I seen this in the theaters. I can't believe it. Why I saw this. I
Yeah,
don't.
I had never seen it before.
Oh, you did. Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I'd seen like parts of it on TV, but I'd
Mm-hmm.
never watched it the whole way through.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and then same here. Like after the theater, I saw like either in TV. I That's how I usually saw bits of it.
hmm
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, what's weird? Like Disney owns Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah,
And
now they do.
it, yeah, now they do. Yeah, now they do. But what's weird? I went first for Disney Plus, my
hmm
my account, and some bizarre reason they don't have it. Either that
Yeah.
or the sequel,
Well, it was made by
Sony,
Sony,
right? Yeah.
so I think Disney doesn't own the rights to the movie. Sony still would.
Wow, that's weird. So okay, that makes sense. I'm just. I mean, it makes sense for Spider-Man, but Ghost Rider. I just thought that with the revert of the rights in 2013, like they were allowed to have the rights, but the movies. But I don't know.
Well, they get the rights to any future movies, but any movies that were made when Sony had the rights are still owned by
Them.
Sony.
All right, that's true. But yeah, that's also weird. I can't believe Sony made this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things. It's funny. But yeah, so I mean, mid 2000 movie. I mean, this is where Marvel was like hitting all cylinders of every character they own. I mean, all the characters were landed by studios, and
Mhm.
you got Ghost Rider, which I'm very shocked that he was able to be put in film and have a sequel, which is crazy. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
it is crazy.
yeah. By the way, I haven't seen the sequel.
I
It's
haven't either.
Yeah. Maybe when it's Halloween time, we'll probably discuss that. Maybe, but weirdly, I saw just a little bit of it in TV.
hmm
Um, I You know who's in it? It was Ezra Elba. Handle of all people is in that movie.
Oh, Idris Elba.
Yes, he's in that movie. Yeah, he's one of those allies with Johnny in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, and no worry, we got other famous people in this movie, and ones that I totally forgot that they're in this movie.
hmm
Um, Especially the dad. I was like, oh, that's who he is. So, anyway, yeah. So before we, I guess discuss the Ghost Rider movie. We had two major trailers in the Marvel studios. We got the Strictly Evasion, and then we got the Marvels. And I just
hmm
want to hear your opinion about those two trailers. Let's discuss with the Secret Evasion. I'm very excited. I was so happy we got the release date finally.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, finally. And I'm very excited to see this series now. I mean, the first teaser like got to me, but I think this trailer did enough for me to be very excited for it.
hmm
Um, and yeah, and it's kind of funny to see that in the Marvels, where because we had Nick Fury coming back for the Marvels, so
Right.
excuse me, I'm very curious where they're gonna do with Nick, but
Yeah, and I'm wondering like where those things are chronologically.
yeah, I'm like, it sounds like it's after Secret Invasion, the Marvels.
hmm
It Just what I'm hearing, but we'll see when we see the series and then see either the post credit scene they're gonna have to connect the Marvels.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. But yeah, what's your opinion on Secret Invasion, the newest trailer we got?
Yeah, no, it piqued my interest for sure. Um, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I gotta say, uh, I just, uh, I guess, uh, I'm happy they're taking their time.
Hmm.
So I think they're hitting the right step. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm waiting for the show to be here because I'm like, just excited to talk more TV stuff.
Hmm.
And so, because our last talk was like She-Hulk back in, like, oh my god, in October of 2022. It's
Yeah,
been
it's
that,
been a long time.
yeah, it's been a long time. It's like longest gap since, it's definitely like what happened to Moon Knight. Like it took
Hmm.
longer to get to Moon Knight when we stopped at Hawkeye and all that.
Hmm.
Um, and then we got the Marvels, released last Tuesday. Uh, and again, it's getting divisive response for people. I don't know why, but whatever. But what's your opinion on the Marvels trailer?
Yeah, I mean the trailer made it look fun. I'm still skeptical, but yeah, I'll give it a chance.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just kind of shocked that they. I mean, they didn't focus on Carol much, and
Hmm.
we're focused on Khan, which makes sense because that was like the thing. Like she was the last thing we saw in terms of her show, so it makes
Hmm.
sense to reconnect to her. And then Monica, I was very happy to see more Monica, and I'm excited for her to become her hero persona, either Proton or Spectrum or whatever and her superior alias names are. I like
Hmm.
that Nick calls her Captain Ramon, which is cool.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you know your history, of course, she was the first the Captain Marvel before Carol took over that in 2010. And then we got the villain. We have this villain, which is cool. Sort of like a Kree. Uh, what was Rowan's role? What was it? Kree something?
He was Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah, the accuser. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she has the bangle that Khan has too, and
Hmm. Hmm.
so I'm very excited that we get more answers for that. So yeah, I think the trailer did an okay job. I just you and I are not big fans of Captain Marvel, and I think this could be a good step for her character,
I hope
maybe.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, because I mean, and I hope we can end this divisive thing about the Marvels. It's like, it's just I'm so tired of it. And it's like,
I mean, I don't think it's gonna end,
you don't think it's
but
gonna end?
no, I even if the movie's like the best movie ever made, people are gonna hate it because there's a woman in the lead role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so. I.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Um.
I would be happy to be proven wrong. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah. I. It doesn't help the fact that they pushed their release date, and all the rumors, and all the drama that Marvel Studios had last March.
hmm.
So I hope now we're maybe hinting a good bright future for them.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, so those are trailers. Which is cool, and soon we're gonna get Guardians. So yeah,
Yeah. Wow. That's coming up.
yeah, it's coming up. So I'm very excited for that. That is like a sure hit. I think that's
Yeah.
where everyone joined together peacefully
Hmm.
for 1 month, and then until we get to the Marvels is where we don't unite and stand together as family.
Hmm.
So but yeah. So anyway, besides that, we discussed trailers. Now we go into Ghost Rider, and uh this I just gonna hit you right there. Will overall thoughts of Ghost Rider? Finally seeing this movie full on. Go ahead.
I did not like it very much.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's, some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of
Oh
the
god.
special effects have not aged well.
Oh
Um,
really? I
yeah.
disagree. I think
Okay.
this is. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Um, and I don't know.
I mean,
I
the
don't know.
story is very like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Uh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So. Are you done?
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Okay. My thoughts. Okay. So. I agree with Will. It's not the best superhero movie. It's the worst, but it's not like it's not as bad as Venom or I mean, oh, like this year, it came out the same year as Spider-Man 3 and Fantastic
Okay.
Four.
Okay.
The rights as Silver Surfer. I will say I'll watch this over those two movies. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I
Wait. Did you say Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer?
yes,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember that one very well.
Ooh, uh, I mean, like Silver
Yeah.
Surfer is great. It's just the Galactus thing is
The
just
rest of the movie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could see it being better than the two of those.
Yeah, you know, with Spider-Man 3, I mean, I like Raimi. It's just too long as a movie. It's like 2 hours, and it's
Yeah.
like, and you know, the storylines in that movie is just so
It was.
underwhelming.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
trying to do too much.
yeah, too much. I mean, underwhelming, disappointing, and just half, like, pardon my French, half-assed with the Venom stuff,
Hmm.
which was if you're a Venom film, it's really bad.
Hmm.
But with this one, I just like it's campy. I like how it has this energy that some of these CPU movies sometimes lack.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, and, there's a lot of expositions, but they sort of get the lore down to a T somewhat. But
Hmm.
I think they do an okay job with that. It's just Nicolas Cage as well. Like he's such a great actor, and this is before his age renaissance he's having right now of his acting, and here like these two Ghost Rider movies like really like he starts to imp up his acting. I think so. And then the CGI. I wanted to get to that.
Hmm.
I disagree with it. I think this is the most. Actually, I think the CGI looks so good, particularly how the Ghost Rider looks. You know, um, like they can easily skip around the Ghost Rider, but no, like I like how he is transformed. Like he's always flaming on. Um, his bike is cool, when it transforms. Um, and the bad guys, they look very generic, but when they have their powers activated, it's decent enough. Um, but yeah, I think this is where the CGI looks seamlessly. Like if you look at this Spider-Man 3 and Silver Surfer, like I'm very impressed how they pull out some of the characters
Yeah.
from the comics. Like especially Silver Surfer. I was like oh my god, how many years? 15 years now. It still looks good. We haven't see him in any live action since then.
Hmm.
So but yeah, uh, yeah. So it's not bad. I mean, like if I wanted to compare it to the other mid 2000 Marvel movies, like it was better than Punisher Warzone. It's uh better than X-Men 3, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Um, uh, and it's better than Elektra. Like it's better than Elektra. It's tough for me to like. This is where it's tough for me, like, because it's directed by the same director that did Daredevil. He directed this movie, Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's tough for me. I think this is maybe better than Daredevil. I'll say,
Okay.
but it's not saying much. I mean, it's just it leaps and bounds from those movies.
Yeah. I mean, it looked pretty good for 2007. I
Hmm.
just think like I don't know. Um,
Uh,
I've seen everything that it does better like
mm,
since then. Even like the glowing effects like underneath his skin when he's like about to transform
yeah.
was very reminiscent of the Extremis in Iron Man 3.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. That's
Like
true.
visually. Um,
Yeah.
and then we've just seen um, the Ghost Rider himself in
And
Agents of
go.
Shield since then.
Yeah.
And I thought Agents of Shield, which was like a network television show,
Hmm.
did the transformation and the effects better.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
So
Ooh. It's sort of tough because I like I I I think both looks good. Especially with specifically characters of Blaze and who's the Ghost Rider in Agent of Shield? Ramis,
Ruby
Reyes.
Reyes.
Yeah, like they look like comic book accurate from
Hmm.
the pages from their solo titles. From their costumes and all that, and so
Hmm.
it's really impressive how they blend that with the special effects.
Hmm.
So I think both are really excellent. Um, I think in terms of detail, I think I will agree with you that I think Reyes looks more polished and looks more like real when
Hmm.
we see it in the season 4. So I do agree with that. But I will say in terms story wise, this is probably the worst. Like I hate to say it, like uh love like the hero love interest is like the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah, it's very forced.
Oh my god! Like when I saw the opening, I was like, by the way, they cast really good young actors to look like Nicolas Cage and Eve Mendes. Like,
Yeah, I was like, I was watching that. I was a little upset that they didn't just keep that actor to play Johnny Blaze. Like, I thought he
yeah,
was doing a good job.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, I don't know.
but
I was just laughing at this is horrible, but I was laughing at his crying when the
okay,
dad. That part, I was like, okay, that's a
yeah.
little too much. Um, just cries in his eyes. I'm sorry. It just took me off from the story. Um, but yeah. I like the actor that played Johnny. I think he really got Cage's mannerisms. Before
Hmm.
we see him,
Hmm.
and yeah, the same thing with the young actress that plays Roxanne. That's the
Hmm.
character's name. Like she looks like Eve Mendes, like the underversion Eve Mendes before we see her in the movie.
Hmm.
And then this is where I want to point out the dad. What's his first name? Oh my god. Uh, the, 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 the- I know his name. The
Uh,
Baxter
Barton.
Barton. Yeah, Barton. Oh my god, that's funny. Barton Blaze. Uh, he is actually in two DC films. He was in Dark Knight Rises and the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in the Joker, he plays Thomas Wayne, and it's supposedly be Arthur's father, which
Hmm.
never get confirmed. So, which is good. And then Dark Knight Rises, he was the one of the politician that gets kidnapped by Catwoman.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is like his first foray in superhero stuff, and then obviously we got other ones that are from that gonna be in the Gotham show, like his friend here, Mac. He's gonna be Bullock in the Fox Gotham TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course Sam Elliott, who plays he plays Carter Shay That's his name. The Phantom Rider, the first one,
Mhm. Mhm.
is he played General Ross in the Aliens Hulk film. So we got a couple Lamans that are gonna become famous soon. But yeah. And I will say I was shocked because when I had a chance to watch this movie today, I will say Peter Fonda as Mephisto is maybe the best casting, and I really wish we use him better than this movie did. But I gotta say, you disagree? Peter Fonda's not great.
No, no, that's no. I have no problem with him.
Okay. I I like how how cocky he is. I like how he
Mhm.
really plays up the devil in a way that's actually accurate. I really like that. Um, yeah, I just wish they kept him for the sequel because they do recast him in the sequel.
I
Unfortunately,
bet he probably didn't want to be in another one.
I mean that too, but we I don't know. I mean, what happened, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, so I thought Pierre Fonda was great. I think it was really good. So, but what do you think about that casting? I guess. Um,
Yeah, no, I thought he did a good job. I don't know. The
uh,
writing, like he wasn't given much to work with, but I thought he did like a decent job with it. What do you got?
yeah. Um, I, I knew they were not gonna do his like devil appearance.
Mhm.
It was kind of cool. I didn't catch this, but when he meets Johnny as a teenager, you do see his form in the shadows before the lightning hits.
Yeah, yeah, I caught that.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. And it was a weird design. Like you
Hmm.
think they were gonna do his comic book version, but I don't know. It was tough to see that quickly. But yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so the we got the origin story here, and for a basic origin story, I think this movie did a good job of yeah getting the Ghost Rider thing off the ground. But I
Hmm.
will say the opening was like, excuse me, the opening credits for this movie of was a Sam Elliott's character like narrating the legend
Hmm.
of the Ghost Rider and all that. Like it's pretty cool, but it's like just like expedition about this world that we haven't yet see yet, and
Hmm.
I don't like that at all.
Hmm.
And then they because they set up this the MacGuffin of the soul contract that Mephisto created, Eh, and then it's just as he repeats it so much times in this movie, it gets so numbing. And then you get the reveal that he is the, Ghost Rider, which it was kind of obvious he was the Ghost Rider, right?
Yeah, of course he was.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why they just trying to make that a twist. I don't understand that. It's just weird.
Hmm.
Um, and then the worst, I knew this, like I hated this when I was a kid. When I saw this, it's like it, it was so disappointing when he, you know, lights up to be Ghost Rider again, and then he say that that was his last time turning on to be Ghost Rider, and then he just flees. It's like what? That's so disappointing. I want him, see him working with Johnny and kick butt at Blackheart, you know.
Hmm.
But that didn't happen, so that was very disappointing. It was just so dramatic for no reasons.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, not good. Um. Anyway, so what what points? So Will, take me around. Like, what are the things you want to discuss? Like, what made you angry about this movie? What you didn't like about it? Like, what storyline you want to discuss?
I don't know if anything made me angry, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know. The worst part of the movie for me was the acting from the main villain.
Oh yeah, Blackheart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just some of the like most boring line reads I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Man, it's like there
Uh,
was no emotion behind anything that he said.
uh,
It,
Wes
it
Wes Bentley. That's his name.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in other stuff. I'm sure he's done better work than this. Um,
Uh oh my God. He's a great
but
actor.
yeah, no, like I'm not trying to like
Hmm.
knock him.
No,
Um,
no, no.
but it was so bad. Like
Nah.
everything was just so flat. Um,
Yeah. And when he
and
laughs, it's so
yeah,
funny.
everything he said felt like he was reading it off a cue card.
Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I 100 agree. You. I think the villain is the worst in this movie. Um, it's just too campy. I mean,
Hmm.
like the movie's tone is consistent, but I feel like the villains just are not frightening enough. And I don't know, Blackheart. Like I I think if they delved in more in depth about his relationship with his father, Mephisto, I think he could have been a very intriguing villain. But we don't get that. He just comes off like a petty son that wants to
Hmm.
get this contract. And I seen Wes Bentley in a couple of things. He's a great actor. Obviously, he's in Yellowstone. If you watch that show, he's really great. He pops up in the Hunger Games, the first one. He plays one of the game controller, or whatever you call that in the Hunger Games movie series. The most famous role he that everyone knows him from is the American Beauty by Kevin Spacey. Uh, Directed by Sam Mendes. Yeah. Forget about Kevin Spacey, but American Beauty, it's a good film, but yeah, forget about whatever that awful man is in that movie. And he has a cameo in the sixth Mission Impossible movie where he
Okay.
plays the husband of Ethan's ex-wife, Tuya, I think that's her name. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But he's overall great actor. But yeah, this is his worst performance. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do. I mean, also Blackheart just looks so 90s grudge.
Yeah, he
Like,
looks like a vampire from Buffy.
yeah, and like his minions as well. Like they look
Yeah.
like, oh my god, oh my god. I don't know what they were thinking, but their like designs is just really awful, and like they come from like a hot topic, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a shame because they seem powerful, but then Ghost Rider beats them so easily,
Hmm.
one by one, and that's the funny part in the movie. When I rewatched it, I was like when he faced them, it's like, oh, there's like their sequence. It's like, oh, okay, one here, they got a guy who's indestructible. No, Ghost Rider kills him. The air guy, the wind person. I really like that character. He looks decent. I think the power makes sense. But then the way Ghost Rider beats him was so easy. And it's like, and it was also his fault because he commented on like you cannot destroy or like destroy wind. You know,
Hmm.
uh, and then Ghost Rider got the idea of just whipping his train into like a tornado and then suck him up into this fire doom. Um, and then you got the water guy, and like how naive he was to not think that he was going to use his firefighters underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
and the final one really bothered me. Like
oh
Blackheart. So
yeah,
Blackheart is fighting Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider tries to use the penance stare to stop him, and he says,
hmm
"You can't beat me. I don't have a soul."
yeah,
And then Ghost Rider loses his powers, and then the guy is like, "You know what I'm gonna do? Is I'm gonna put 10,000 souls inside of me,
yeah. Whole Legion.
so that the thing that wasn't working for the hero before can work now."
Yeah.
And then he's
Oh,
immediately defeated. That's such a like
dumb thing. Yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah. And well, and wait a minute. Like, this is where I mean, this is my worst part of the movie is the lore. Like, it
mhm.
doesn't make sense. They have very slim rules. It's
Right.
like, okay, how the heck Blackheart has like how is those are souls? Like, is there supposed to be spirits? Is there a difference between spirits and souls? You know?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't understand how he can defeat him like that. And
Yeah.
and then the how Donnie gets his Ghost Rider powers to work is because um Carter, Sam Elliott's character,
Hmm.
mentions that be around the shadows because if he's under the shadows, his powers work there.
Right. Which doesn't.
Makes sense, doesn't
Right. Because it's
I?
supposed to work at night, which
Which doesn't make sense either.
yeah, it's not nighttime if you're underneath a tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. It's like how dark is that? Like Decimate Church. I don't. It's just oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So that it was just weird. Yeah, very lame way to do that for your
yeah.
villain. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Ugh. Blackheart. Not a great villain. Probably the worst villains of the mid 2000 um films. Yeah, definitely.
I can't
Um.
think of a worse one. So
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Pre MCU. I could say Venom. I mean, for me, but like even that,
no,
it
I
steps.
think this is worse than Venom.
Really,
Yeah.
I. Oh no! Forget that. Actually, he's worse than Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 3 because
Hmm.
like at least he is actually a villain. And the filmmakers, I know they had three villains, but they could easily make Harry to be the main villain, be the main mastermind.
Hmm.
In the film, just like Goblin does. But they didn't do that. Instead, they distracted Harry completely, like Cyclops. Yeah, so I don't know. Uh, oh my god, yeah, it's the worst villain plots ever, and then it's just Mephisto's is also weird. Like he cannot be on Earth, and like we see like how the light weakens him.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to understand how he can walk in this planet where he cannot belong to. Like I don't understand that rule for Mephisto. Like that's another part of the lore that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't think they thought about it too hard.
mm-mm. And I heard that the sequel does the same problem as this film
Hmm.
did. So the lore doesn't make sense either in the sequel. So, but yeah. Uh, so what else? I mean, we got to the villain plot. I guess Eve Mendes. I think this is her worst performance ever. Like I think Roxanne is the worst love interest. Like I guess I couldn't say is MJ, but then it's really only on Spider-Man 3 because
Hmm.
just the direction they took her in that movie was just very. It makes sense if you hear what they were trying to do, but like it felt forced and she just comes out very like unreasonable to
Hmm.
hear sometimes, and that's very annoying. But here, she's very shadow, like very shallow person. I don't
Hmm.
like 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 it's crazy. Like this is a good example of being shallow. Like when we see her back again after Johnny misses the dinner, and of course she has the right to be upset. You
Hmm.
know, and then the next scene, she comes back and she wants to like like fix and make up the conversation, and it's like, okay, why, like I don't understand why you want to go back and make up the conversation. You should be more mad, right?
Hmm.
i I don't understand that. And then she's telling Johnny to tell him to be honest with her, and it just goes too typical, like the hero lying to her. It's like so CW for this character that she gets angry for no reason.
Hmm.
But it's funny. When she was at the dinner drinking a lot of wine, it's funny she brought what was it, the eight bowl we call that 8 ball thing, the fortune teller. Like,
The magic 8 ball.
yes, I can't believe she brought that in a dinner in a restaurant, just like predicting her future, what's gonna happen to this dinner. That's so funny. And then this annoyed me. It's like she asked the waiter that like she looks pretty. I was like, okay. So yeah, worst love interest. I don't think, I don't know why we had to have Roxanne here. Like, I it's probably the worst love interest for me. But and no chemistry between her and Nicolas Cage. I just I, I don't see that at all. Um, but oh, before that, when Roxanne is interviewing that goth girl, do you recognize who she was? The goth
It was
girl?
Rebel Wilson, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Because I was wondering if you knew that. Because I forgot that she was in this movie. And her scene was funny. I actually did like that. I did laugh at that.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, yeah. Any opinions on Eva Mendes' character, Roxanne, and all that?
No, just
Yeah,
completely forgettable.
yeah. Forgettable, useless.
Yeah.
One of the worst. But now, let's get into our favorite actor and our main hero, Johnny Cage. Well, Johnny Johnny Blaze slash play by Nicolas Cage. I mean, this. I, before he played, noir, Spire Noir, and then gonna play Dracula in the Ramfield movie. Uh,
Mhm.
I think him playing superhero was, he was supposed to play Superman in the '90s. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of cool. He plays Ghost Rider. I think he's right for Johnny Blaze. I just
Yeah.
wish he had better script. Right? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say the same thing. I think with a better creative team behind the movie, he could have done really well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Nicolas Cage can be a good actor if he's given the right material, but I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
the time he, I mean, he's famous for just saying yes to whatever script comes in front of him. So
Yeah.
a lot of the time he's given bad scripts and he gives a bad performance. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, there's.
I think he's an incredible actor. I just think he
Yeah.
doesn't like apply his skills all the time.
Yeah. Um.
And I think he kind of. It felt like he was kind of phoning it in here.
Mm,
I don't
mm,
know. I think he like went. He gave it more than the script deserved, but it still wasn't very much.
yeah. I think he's consistent in this movie. He's there doing his job. I think it's just the weird characteristic of Johnny in this film.
Hmm.
Like because apparently Cage made the decision to have him um sling candy in the glass, and then and watching those kind of funny monkey videos,
Hmm.
in the contents of it, I kind of see what he's trying to do, but it's really off about a
Hmm.
character that's dealing with this awful deal he has done with the devil, right?
Hmm.
And I, I, I just don't like, because it kind of sounds very too goofy, you
Hmm.
know? Because it's weird because Kate plays a very melancholy, the better word sense when we see him,
Hmm.
because in the sequel he plays him more like crazy, like Jack Nicholson level, where here you have this weird, canny, like, obsession drinking, and then watching funny videos against this more brooding hero we have here that's dealing about what he did with his dad and all that. It doesn't make sense. I feel like it's just
Yeah.
clashing the tones too much.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I mean, Nick's, speaking of Nicolas Cage, I mean, he is 100% committed to movies, either bad or good. Like, he
Hmm.
helps bring those like B level movies to life. Like, I mean, Face Off, he's really good there. Um, The Rock. It's really great. One of
Hmm.
the best Michael Bay movies ever. He's so great with that, especially with Sean Connery. Um, and then there's another movie, the horror movie, where he plays silent. Like he plays a role where he just doesn't talk. Like he's so good when he doesn't remote talking.
Yeah.
So
You're talking
yeah,
about
uh,
Mandy? Did he talk in Mandy?
yeah, Mandy.
I really
Was it
liked
Mandy?
Mandy.
Yeah, like that is a good example of a committed actor.
Yeah. No,
Like
like again, he's a great actor when he
yeah,
has stuff to work with.
yeah. I guess my saying he's like really the only best thing about these Ghost Rider films. I have to say.
Hmm.
If it was someone else, I don't think the actor will just make me like this more than Nicolas Cage does. You
Hmm.
know, um, I don't know. It's just Cage has something like he has a presence, and it, and then he feels like Johnny. Where
Hmm.
it depends on what version. That's the thing. I do appreciate with this movie they actually dive in that there's been multiple versions of Ghost Riders.
Hmm.
Um, that I totally forgot that they did that with Sam Elliott. I was like, oh, they did have the first Ghost Rider before Johnny or whoever came after, in the
Hmm.
70s. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, I think Nicolas Cage did a really good job with this movie, and he like owns it. I mean, I don't know who else can play Johnny Blaze besides Nicolas Cage now.
Hmm.
I, I mean, it has to be either Robbie or Danny, the other Ghost Rider that we sort of got in the cartoons in the 90s. But yeah, what other things did we missing? Was there anything else, Will, that we're forgetting?
Um,
Um,
I feel like we've talked about all the characters.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
mhm.
Oh, one other thing. Speaking of 2007, um, when we get to Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 2 specifically, I didn't recognize this until the opening credits when they had the superhero fanfare.
Mhm.
The titles Ghost Rider. The composer who does this is Christopher Young. He's a great composer. He did the Hellraiser, the first two scores, really great. Highly recommend you to listen to it, especially the number two, Hellbound, is a great soundtrack. I listen to it; it's amazing. Will you will like it?
All right.
Um, yeah, and the reason I'm bringing this up, he does Spider-Man 3 score. He did Spider-Man 2 as well. If you listen to like the very operatic sound when
Mhm.
Doctor Octopus thing, that's Christopher Young's score from Hellraiser. Um, uh, so if you compare that to the Hellraiser soundtrack one day, and then if you listen to the Doc Ock's theme, it's similar because of that composer. And the reason I'm bringing that is because unfortunately Danny Elfman and Sam Raimi were having a fallout during Spider-Man
Mhm.
2, and because he apparently Sam wanted Danny to copy Christopher Nolan's score of Hellraiser, and then at the point, Danny was frustrated and just told him to get him, and that's what Sam did in Spider-Man 2. And then, of course, Danny didn't return for Spider-Man 3, so Chris Breon took over the score, and he did a great job in Spider-Man 3 soundtrack. It's like he does borrow the Elfin themes, but also he
Mhm.
adds his flavor. Like, I love that Chris Breon adds some jazz in the score. And the Sandman and the Venom theme are really great. I think it's one of the best supervillain themes we had so far. But yeah, I just recognized that. Another cool thing, before we wrap things up, the Marvel logo,
Mhm.
um, just like Hulk or X-Men 3, I love that they give you the panels of the Ghost Rider comics, and and then when we get to Marvel, they did the Ghost Rider transformation to the Marvel logo. Like
Mhm.
it's like I totally forgot about it. That's so cool. I wish Marvel Studios do that. Like it was so cool. When the Punisher, the Thomas Jane one,
Mhm.
when when the Marvel logo hits, you see a little bit of Punisher panels. from his comics, and then they do the shoot guns towards the Marvel logo. That was so cool. Or like the Hulk, the Aliens Hulk's movie had the green over the Marvel logo over it.
Hmm.
So like I really miss when they were very creative with these Marvel logos. Before the MCU thing. So yeah, shame. But yeah, I think this is all we have to say about Ghost Rider. It's, I mean, I can recommend it just for like a drunk night, really. Just how stupid it is sometimes. And there's funny moments I did laugh at, so I thought it was pretty cool. But what about you? Recommend this, Will?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh well. So well, everyone, I hope you enjoy. Any more to say, Will? Do you have any more thoughts, or are you good?
I mean, it was nice to have Nicolas Cage in a Marvel movie because I know he's like a fan of Marvel.
Oh yes,
Um,
I mean, he's
his
a
name
big,
is
yeah. Well,
Nicolas Cage because he's a fan of Luke Cage.
oh, I didn't.
Because his name's actually Nicholas Coppola. He's related to Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know that. Oh, I thought he
Yeah.
copied Johnny Blade or well, Johnny Cat or something.
No,
Yeah.
he's a fan of Luke Cage.
Oh wow. Yeah, I know he's a fan of that. He's a fan of Superman too. I mean, his name is Kid Cal.
Hmm.
All names. Yeah, he's a big comic book guy. I'm
Yeah.
happy he's he at least had like more chance to play other comic book characters. He was great
Hmm.
in Spider Noir
Yeah.
in the Spider Verse. I love him. So it's great. Um, so Will, our next podcast will be in May 1st. So that's before Guardians.
Hmm.
So this is good because so our next podcast should be X2.
Okay.
Because X2 has its 20th anniversary this year, which is crazy. 20 years. Oh my god.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah. So and then I think after that, we're gonna have our Guardians of the Galaxy podcast around the 15th. So that's how the schedule is.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. I can't believe it's gonna be May. Like soon we're gonna get more Marvel content. I mean, like at least spread out than say Phase 4 was. So
Hmm.
that's good. So but yeah. So thank you, Will, for coming today. I This was a fun podcast.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I am sorry that you had to watch this movie. You
It's
know.
alright.
I mean, you don't have to watch Batman and Robin. I mean, I
It's
saw that
true.
with John. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're lucky. So, uh, yeah, but at least Venom is funny. I mean, like I do laugh out when he say he's a loser from his planet. Like, how you be a loser of your planet? You're an alien. Yeah, and then oh my god, so I don't know. X-Men 3 is just weird. Oh my god, Spider-Man 3, the emo dance. Come on, you cannot laugh at that meme. So many years now. Uh, anyway, so thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Of course, me will be back again. Again announced that we're gonna do X2, which is great. And yeah, and then of course we're gonna do the Guardians Family 3 spoiler cast. After release it in May 5th. So thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Have a good day and have a good night.